Welcome to our program Political Arena. I am John Glover. I'll be your anchor on this Friday's edition. It is 49 days before the presidential election in Nigeria. It means that in 49 days from now, February 25th to be precise, 96.2 million Nigerians will troop into the various polling units to elect who will take over from President Muhammadu Buhari, who will be the next president of Nigeria. With that, I say welcome to our show. Today we shall be taking a look at the state of the policy, that is the general election, ensuring effective participation. We have with me in the house two members of the clergy who are also politicians by their own standard. We have Reverend Udume Braye Usiobi, who is a clergyman and also a politician. As a matter of fact, he is the Accord Party House of Assembly candidate for Ughelli South constituency. You're welcome to our show.
Good morning. Good morning, Deltans.
Also with us is our bishop-elect, Bishop Umukoro Wilson. He is the Delta State Admin, Directorate of Politics and Governance, DPG. You're welcome to our program.
Good morning.
Right.
Good morning, viewers.
All right, thank you very much. Just before we take a look at our topic, general election and ensuring effective participation, we want to look at the state of the policy very briefly. Very quickly, I want Bishop-elect Umukoro Wilson to respond to the recent endorsement of Peter Obi and the former president of Nigeria, General Olusegun Obasanjo, retired, and also the elder statesman Chief Ike Clark. Their endorsement, what does it portend for this? We're not talking about, just looking at the what does it portend? Will it be another advantage to Peter Obi?
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think not necessarily, because at the end of the day, General Olusegun, the former head of state, has just one vote, he's one man, and he has expressed his opinion that this is the person he thinks that should take over the leadership of the country in the next coming election. He has expressed his mind, he has expressed his own opinion, and I don't think that should raise anything. The people who will really decide who will be the citizens of the country. So for me, I think he's one man, he has experience, he has been there about 2 times. So he has expressed his mind, and also our elder statesman Ike Clark, also he's also one man, he has expressed his mind as well. So we appreciate their opinions, but I think the Nigerian people are the ones to decide exactly who will be there.
All right, thank you very much. Reverend Udume Braye Usiobi, you are of the Accord Party. Your party's candidate, who happens to be the youngest in the presidential race, was not endorsed by the 2 elder statesmen. What does this portend for your party? Is that a vote of no confidence, or will this affect your chances in general elections?
Well, thank you for that question. I don't think it will affect our chances in the forthcoming general elections. They have right to their own opinion. They can endorse whosoever they choose to. Like my bishop here said, they have just one vote. They cannot convince the whole of Nigeria to vote their choice candidates. So that should not raise any tension as far as I'm concerned.
All right, very quickly, just look at the last one. The permanent voters card has moved to the wards, according to INEC, that the permanent voters cards yesterday moved to the various wards for onward collection. So far, the collection of voters cards started some weeks ago, and still we still have hundreds of thousands of voters cards yet to be collected. What are some of the issues that we're going to face with the voters card moving to the wards level, Bishop Wilson Umukoro?
Well, let me first of all commend INEC for their work. I was personally, I was at the INEC office at Ovie Palace to collect my own voters card, and when I got there, I saw the crowd. The crowd was massive, and the pressure was on the staff, and they are doing their best to see how people can collect their PVCs, and probably in their own wisdom as well, they have tried to decentralize it. Not everybody coming to the very headquarters. So, but to go to your various wards to go and collect their PVCs, I think they are doing their best to get these PVCs out. My advice is everyone who registered should be able to go to their various wards and get their PVC. Today, I think over 90% of PVC has been released and people are getting their PVC. So they are doing their best, and I think people who are in their various wards should go and collect their PVCs.
All right, Reverend Mebrai, INEC's timetable is between 6th and 12th that these PVCs will remain, will be at the ward level. Do you see these 6 days will it be enough for all registered voters that are here to collect their PVCs from their ward?
The 6 days will not be enough. The reason is the electorate are more than those working in the INEC office. They will not be able to satisfy the masses. So I want to appeal, like I did on Monday, I want to appeal to INEC to see how they can still extend the days so that every Nigerian who have registered will have the opportunity to collect their voters card and make use of it on the day of election.
All right, now, how can we mobilize our people effectively, Bishop Wilson Umukoro? How can we mobilize our people effectively? Because you are a clergyman, so you have followers, hundreds of followers and others. So I also believe in you. How can we mobilize our people effectively to collect their PVCs?
Yeah, we have done that several times. We do it in our various churches, and where we meet as pastors, as clergies in our various meetings like PFM meeting, CAN meeting, and other meetings where we meet. We encourage ourselves that pastors should go to their congregations and encourage them to go and pick their PVCs. We announce this again and again in our churches. Sometimes some pastors also have gone to the extent of even asking the members to come to church with their PVCs, and those who don't have should stand up, identify them, and encourage them to go and pick their PVCs. So we are doing that work of encouraging members to go and pick their PVCs. One thing is to announce to them, talk to them. The other thing is for them to obey and go and pick it. Most of them, they complain about going to market if they go to INEC office or go to the place to collect it. They spend the whole day or spend 2 days and the thing has not been given to them. So that's kind of stress on them sometimes, make them get dissuaded not to go and pick their PVC. But overall, I think we're doing our best to encourage members to go and pick their PVCs.
Okay, just before we wrap up this segment, I just wanted to talk to Deltas out there to go out and collect their PVCs.
Certainly, there's no way you can really vote on the day of election without your PVC. If you are truly concerned about this country and you really want this country to go forward, you could see the awareness today is not as it used to be. So I encourage all Deltans to go and get their PVC. If you know you registered, go and get your PVC, because that is the only power you have to exercise your right on the day of election. You can't sit at home and say, I want this man to be the president of this country, without you going to vote. So we advise everybody to go and get their PVC, because that is your right to vote on that day.
So, Reverend Webari, it's your turn.
The truth is, the church is trying their best, but we can do more. The people, some of them complain about transportation and the time that they will waste at the collection center. I think it's beyond the church also. Community leaders, stakeholders, privileged citizens should also be involved in helping the masses to get their voters card by maybe providing a bus that would take them to the venue or a means of transportation. I think that we also encouraged Nigerians to get their PVCs.
All right, I want to encourage us to collect our PVCs. They have now left the INEC office to your various wards. Just go to your ward and you collect your PVC there. So you may not really need transport, because the ward is actually close to not your local government headquarters but to your ward. So just go to your ward and collect. So I want to, like you said, community leaders, just go ahead and make sure your people collect the PVC, because all vote must count at this time that INEC has introduced beavers, and so you can only select the leader of your choice through your PVC. So go ahead and collect your PVC. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about our topic. Stay with us, viewers.
Point of order, Minority Leader.
Distinguished senators, members of Representatives.
Let's stop there. If we cannot save this country, we stay in our homes. Our country is bleeding. People are in poverty. There's no food. People are hungry. Insecurity is threatening us. We cannot pretend. It's better we are not here than to not see that here people are dying. Every day Nigerians are dying. We must rise to the occasion. And so me, Mr. President.
Welcome back, viewers. We are looking at the 2023 general elections, ensuring effective participation. Very quickly, we still have in the studio with us Reverend Udumebrai Usiobi, who is a politician and a clergyman. He is actually the House of Assembly candidate for Accord Party, Ughelli South. You're welcome again to our program. Also with us in the studio is Bishop-elect Umukoro Wisin, who is the Delta State Administrator, Directorate of Politics and Governance, DPG. Also, thank you very much for your time. All right, very quickly, let's look at our topic now. There have been voter apathy recently in the last 3 elections, Osun, Ekiti, and Anambra election. The numbers of voters have really declined over time. We want to see what is responsible for the recent voter apathy, people not coming out to exercise their franchise. Bishop Wisin Umukoro.
Well, I would say that it's because of that mindset that we have and what the people have generally seen in the past, that their votes don't count. That is why some persons would not want to just get stressed up and go and get their PVC or go for the voting, because they generally believe that whatever you do in the voting day, the people who decides it are already there. Those who are already, that is the mindset they have before, that the person who is already a winner is known already in the past. But I think this time it has changed. And following what INEC has done about the beavers and all that, and the awareness that has been created now and the state of our nation, I think very many persons are coming out to say, yes, we are going to register, we are going to get our PVC, we are going to vote. The awareness today is high. And so I believe that we will not have those kind of experience we had in the past of that apathy of voters. But today, we believe that in the next election, you will see upsurge of people coming out to go and vote.
Yeah. All right, Reverend Udumebrai, what other reason can be attributed to the poor participation of voters?
Well, it has been like that over the years. The reason why we see this huge result is because no beavers to monitor the activities. After one has voted, at the end of the day, the ruling party or the powerful men or thugs that are on ground, they begin to temperate on their own. It has been like that. And these beavers will checkmate the voting system again. Voting will be very scanty this time around. I must tell you the truth, because a lot of persons are still angry with the system. Like what the bishop said, our vote doesn't count. Who will win has already been known even before the day of election. So many of them stay at home. I was interacting with a chief, and he said he has never come out to vote since we've been voting. Since 1999 till date, he has never used his voter's card to vote. But you will be surprised that at the end of the day, that person's polling unit maybe will record 100 or 200 votes. But at the end of the day, 2,000, 3,000 will be announced to us. It has been like that. So these beavers will really tell us the true picture of our voting strength. Because a lot of persons, even till now as I speak with you, with the voters education, some are still telling you, I don't vote. I just do my voters card for banking activities and all that. So this is what we find ourselves. Votes will still be very scanty in this coming election.
So let's look at the area of security. A lot of voters, because a lot of them are afraid that there will be talks and all that, so they are not safe going out to vote. So they prefer staying at home with their. I want to look at that angle of security, Bishop.
Like security as to this, compare this next election to the previous one. Yes, the same thing. Of course, it's still in line with that party of voters in the past. Security, that is the same mindset that we had in the past, that when you go out to vote in some area where the opposition knows that his opponent will have upper hand, you know how they ferment trouble, bring talks and blow off things and all that, and people will run for their lives. So that fear is still there as well. But I think from what is on ground now, how things are going, we just believe and trust God that security will be made available. It will not be the way it used to be. Things will change in this forthcoming election.
All right, let's go look at the role of the church in mobilizing members, because in this part of the country, majority are Christians and they have a high respect for the clergy. So what is the role of the church in mobilizing Christians to come out, or their members to come out to vote, exercise their franchise? You are the Delta State admin of the Directorate of Politics and Governance, DPG.
Yeah, the role of the church, or the role of clergies mobilizing people or their members or Christians to come out to vote. If you were with us in the past 1 year in our forum or organization DPG, we have really done great work. We've been able to go out to tell Christians and even Christian leaders the need for them to come out to vote, and the level at which they appreciate this next coming election is massive. So clergies are encouraging their members and telling them the advantage of them coming out to vote in this next election. There is nobody in this country who will see the way the country is today and who want this country to go on the way it is. So that is also a key point for us to encourage our people that, look, if you need a change, if you need improvement, if you need this country to move ahead, you need to come out and vote. We must not sit back and begin to blame those in authority, those in power, for not doing what we say they should do when you are not coming out to vote. So I think today there is upsurge of people coming out to show interest that in the next election they are going to vote. So clergies are doing their best to see how to mobilize the church to vote in the next election.
Well, thank you. Reverend Umebra, you are a clergyman and also a politician, a candidate in this election. How has the support base been like?
The truth is, we have some support from some church leaders, while some see it as no need to support this one because it's not going to win. But they see that pastor does not have the kind of money they need to give out for the forthcoming election. While some church leaders are also discouraging it. It's not all about money, because the politics of today, they've ruined the system by making it a monetary politics. So the support from the church is now that we are sensitizing our people to see beyond the financial aspect of it, because the involvement of the church in today's politics will reduce corruption. No two ways about it. Will reduce corruption. So many abnormalities will be put aside when Christians are fully involved in the day-to-day running of our country. So the church have a lot of role to play in the forthcoming election by sensitizing the people. Let them know, if you don't vote, whosoever that emerge will also be your leader. So instead, use your card to vote the right person and vote the choice of God, so that the devil will not impose his choice on us.
No. I want us leave the God factor out of it, because I believe that the choice is already ours. So God can't come down to choose. We go out. That's a mistake the church makes in the past. Made in the past.
Yes.
God will choose a leader. So instead of going out to vote, they begin to pray.
Yes.
Resort to prayers, and your prayer cannot convert to vote.
Yeah.
So now let's Bishop Wesley Umukoro. Let's look at a lot of people. Before then, let's look at the Muslim ticket of a lot of Christians spoke against it. The APC adopting the Muslim ticket. A lot of Christians spoke against it, but they came out to explain that it's not about religion, because it's about the personality of the persons that are coming out to contest. So and again, the Constitution, the new Electoral Act also goes against anybody voting on religious ground. Is the personality. Now I want us to see how is the church going to support? Is it based on religion or the personality? I believe the personality.
Yeah, the church is going to. When we talk about the church, I think something I have to say here is that when we talk about the church is an entity. The church is an institution. The church is an organization, and people make up the church. And these people, they belong to different political parties.
Okay.
So why some condemn the Muslim ticket, there are some Christians in that same party that supports that very ticket.
Okay.
Why the other Christians to belong to other party who condemn the Muslim ticket. So the issue is not just the Muslim ticket or the religious side of it. What we should be looking at is credibility. What we should be looking at is the personality. However, for fairness, for balance, Nigeria is made up of different geopolitical zone. You wouldn't tell us that in the north per se, in the Muslim ticket, that there are no Christians who are qualified to be your running mate. I think that is the grievances. That what you have just done is telling us that no Christian is qualified, no other person is qualified apart from somebody in your own religion. But they came out to say, well, the Muslim, it's not about religion, it's about the personality. Are you saying that no other personality in other religion as well? Because at the end of the day, you will not totally remove your faith from the whole operation of governance. So I think what the church should be looking at is credibility, is the personality of the person that is coming to represent us in any of the political positions that they are going to occupy. So personality is very important.
Okay, Reverend Umebari, you heard him speak at the personality. So your being a clergyman or being a member of a church does not give you automatic support of this particular group. So I wanted to look at the personalities of all the presidential candidates and tell me the one that feel the cap fits.
The one the cap fits, I believe I'm not here to campaign, because my party we have the youngest presidential candidate. So if you ask me to tell Nigerians or to tell debtors the ones the cap fit, I will tell them that the one in my party is the one that the cap fits.
Party, yes.
Yes, because it's party thing. Then looking at the Muslim ticket and looking at the personality, the truth is I frown at it as a person. As a person, I frown at it, because you are telling the church that for the next 4 years or for the next 8 years, the church will be by the side by having the Muslim as a president, if at all they win, the vice president a Muslim. No two ways about it. The Senate president will also come from that end. So just look at it. The church is being put aside, and Nigeria is not a one religion country. So I frown at it as a person. It's not too okay. I'm not a member of the APC, neither am I a member of PDP, but the Muslim ticket, is not a good one for our country at a time like this.
All right, but they have come up to say that the presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his wife is also a pastor, a member of the clergy in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and so they will not be completely put aside because they also have a Christian that is with him. But let's leave that aside. Let's move forward. Now, Bishop Wilson Omokoro, I want us to look at the participation of Christians beyond just coming out to vote. Let's look at the participation from the beginning. If the Christians had mobilized early enough, they would have gotten voices in all the major political parties where the early decisions, and they would come out and say this is our stake here, there. So how can the church now mobilize their people to participate from the grassroots, from joining political parties and get into the top in the next dispensation?
Thank you. I think that is one of the core visions of DPG.
Okay.
Because as it is now, you cannot participate in politics, in fact, vying for any position if you don't belong to a political party. And so, if Christians are not in the political parties from even the world level, there is no way you can actually influence what goes on in any party. So that is why we have come out to encourage Christians not only to go out for PVC or register or go vote. You as a Christian, if you so wish to be a politician, go to the ward, your ward, go and register in your ward, participate in your ward, be there in the ward, because politics is local. So if Christians are not in the ward level, join political parties, there is no way you are going to influence what, because in the ward level, if you have 7 ESCOs that take decisions in the ward level and no Christians are there, these unbelievers will take the decisions and produce who they want to produce, and while you are in your pulpit preaching. And INEC does not count prayer, counts votes. So we have told Christians in this 2023 election, I think we are like collaborating, but we are believing that at the end of the day, before 2027, the church should be able to have been able to influence, make their impact in their various ward level. Christians would have been involved massively in ward level, where even they can take over leadership from the ward level to decide what is happening there. That is only when righteousness will be enthroned. If you don't participate, if you don't register, if you don't belong to a political party, there's no way your voice can be heard. That much.
All right, thank you very much. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll begin to wrap up the program. We'll take a break. Stay with us. Welcome back, viewers. We're still looking at 2023 general election, ensuring effective participation. Now, Reverend Udumebrai, how can we effectively mobilize eligible voters in Delta State to come out and participate in the general elections? How can we do that?
We can make use of any available platform to do that, like the clergymen using their pulpits to tell members to come and vote. We should also go beyond the four corners of the church by getting some public address system, position in the marketplace, strategic bus stops, let them know the need for them to vote. Deltans need to vote in this forthcoming election so that we can have the good governance we'll be craving for.
All right, thank you very much. Bishop-elect, how can we effectively mobilize our people to come out, Deltans to come out en masse to vote? Because if you look at it, we just President Muhammadu Buhari came into power with just a little above 70 million votes, and so if we can mobilize our people effectively, I think we can make an impact. How can we effectively do this?
Yeah, like he has said, I think if you look at it, we have the church, you have other groups, other organizations, you know, and politicians also know that the church, as clergies, they have very high influence over their people. And of course, if you look at the population of any state or even a country like Nigeria, let us say like Delta State here, you find that almost 90% of Deltans are Christians. They go to church. On Sunday, when you go out to the street, you scarcely see people. They are all in various churches. And that's why politicians too are partnering with clergies, because they know that clergies, they have the crowd. Apart from school and market that holds almost every day, the next place that accommodates large crowd of people is the church. And the church people listen to their pastor more than anybody. Yeah. So I think the church is an effective means to help to mobilize people to come out on the day of election. Then again, the agencies that are saddled with responsibility to, to orientate the masses should also engage these other groups, social groups, secular groups, and make them, see how to also engage their people. That is for those who don't go to church, because there are still people who don't go to church. So those set of people, they also belong to one meeting or party, organization or the other. These people should be able to use their forum to also educate their people. And of course, through media, through other agencies, we'll be able to speak to the people to come out and mobilize for that election that is coming up.
Thank you very much. I will not ask you to tell me your presidential or governorship candidate, but I will ask you to tell me what the characteristics this candidate
criteria
or what is criteria?
Of course, the criteria, let me say, like what Christian Association of Nigeria came out to tell us, to give to us, is that one, we should vote our conscience, and in that we should look at these criteria. One is integrity, integrity, credibility, track record in the past. It should not be a fraudster. It should not be somebody who does not have the interests of the people at heart. It must be a candidate, must be somebody whose interest is for the people, and he has had good record in the past. Like what Afe Babalola said yesterday in one of the interviews. He said, well, next election, what he's saying is that the higher spender will win, but they should not, that is, he was just asserting that fact. But the truth is that if you are coming out to be a candidate, whatever, it should not just come from the blues. We should be able to screen them. We should be able to know who this person is, look at the history of this person, because we have suffered a lot in this country, and we will not want to make mistakes in the next election. So the candidate, we must go out to support this candidate who have the interest of the people at heart, who has, he has credibility. His track record is there. It's not somebody that has been indicted in one way or the other. So these are the criteria that we look at. And two, a candidate too who will respect the church, who will respect the church, who will respect Christians, who will respect other religion as well, his body language will be that will bring a level playing ground for everybody to express their religion in this country. So that is the criteria we're looking at.
And looking at all the presidential candidates, you see anyone that has this criteria?
Well, of course, they are, because if all of them are speaking, they will certainly tell you they have the credibility, they have the integrity, they have track record if they are speaking. But we who are looking at them, we know their records. So the day of election, we are going there to thumbprint the person. We know that this one has the credibility.
So how are you sure the church will speak with one voice?
Well, again, for me, that is where it is. When you say the church, I always say that, whether here or anywhere, when you say the church cannot speak with one voice. Because people make up the church. And these various persons have their preferred candidates. So the party you belong, If you are Christians in that party, speak one voice in your party. If you are Christian in another party, speak that same voice in your party. But the thing is that CAN has come out to say this is the criteria. So you Christians in your various political party, look at that criteria. If your candidate fits into that criteria, you go for him. If he doesn't fit, it's your personal choice. You know what to do on the day of election. That's all.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's take your closing remark now, Reverend Udumebra Yosebi. Your closing remark, please.
The truth is, the church must get it right this time around. Like the criteria, like what my bishop said, there are things we need to see in the candidates that will move the church and the masses to vote for the person. Someone who loves the church, who have respect for people, who vision is for the people, not selfish interest, not just to gather names. I want a member, I want the governor, I want a no. Someone who will affect the grassroots, who will affect the people with his opportunity, with his power, with his affluence and everything. I think that is what the church needs to do this time around, and that is what our people who are not even Christians need to look out for, because we are tired of where we are.
All right,
We are tired of it.
And again, let me just quickly chip in this. Let me quickly chip in this. You see, sometimes too, we are always looking at the federal, the national. We should not also forget state. We should not also forget the senatorial candidates. We should not also forget House of Assembly,
And House of Rep.
House of Rep. We should not even forget our local
Councillors.
government chairman and councillor.
Councillors.
But all attention is just
The federal.
federal, national. Because the truth is that it's the state that is closer to you, your local government closer to you. So if we are looking at national, talking about national, and we don't talk about state, I think we are still missing the mark. Because who comes to represent us as the governor of a state is very, very important, very critical. So the same criteria we are using to measure the one that will come in the federal will be the same criteria for the one in the state.
Just before I let you go, has DPG endorsed any of the candidates for political parties?
Yeah. DPG as a political arm of.
Okay, that's
so-
endorsed. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Maybe that will be talk of for another day.
Another day. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Since that's all we can take on our program. Special thanks to Reverend Udumebra Yosebi. Thank you very much for your time, and also Bishop-elect Umukoro Wisi. Thank you very much for your time. I'm John Glover. Special thanks to my producers Grace Mato and Johnson Obaseji, and my executive producer Pastor Marco Moteri. See you same time on Monday for another edition. From us, it's goodbye.